got an issue with the machine that I have to take care of. Actually, I've got a couple. My son and I was working on it, and inadvertently he put his weight on the head while it was swinging, and he was trying to climb to the top of the machine, kind of used it as a ladder, and it broke that hinge. So I basically have to build a new part. This is Jeff again, E.D.S. Inc. Shandon, and we've gotten our piece of metal milled for our hinge, and we've got it blued. You can see the bluing here, and I've actually have it scratched out where I need to cut it. But I'm also going to need my Hindy lathe, because I need to drill some holes through this block. So I really need to get that lathe running before I can finish this piece, because of the bores that I have to run through it. And these are metric bores. The machine is a metric. The pins going in it are all metric. I can't remember what size. I'd have to go over there and mic them again and find out what they are. But at any rate, the point being is I need to bore this. I need to set up on the Hindy to do that. And so I need to get that going. It's been sitting here for a couple of months now with nothing happening with it. I turned it on and cycled it and what have you, but I haven't really gotten it running yet because I haven't had a tool post. So it's time to get that done. So I went and I bought myself a, what is that? I think it's K72 series. I'm not sure who, this is some Chinese made chuck, but it's like a BX size, I think, and not chuck, but tool post holder. And so it's come with the foot on it. Unfortunately, obviously, it doesn't fit in my vise, so I'm going to have to trim it down. Now I've taken a measurement using my Starrett inside dimension tool and mic'd it. Came up that the inside dimension here is 2.12, so it's about 2 1/8 is what I figure, because this Hindy is American made, it's not metric, so it's going to be in inch imperial measurements. So I've checked this out, and this is about 2 1/4 inches in width. Now my depth is wrong too, or my shoulder is wrong as well. I'll have to take and trim that back, but I'm going to start with trimming these two sides equally. So the difference in the amount is 0.130. So if I divide that by 2, I'm going to have 0.065. So what I need to do is trim 0.065 off of each side. Now I'll probably go like 0.067 on each side, and the reason for that is I don't want it to fit tight in my my unit here, my vise for my or my clamp for my Hindy lathe. So we'll take just a tad bit more so that this will slide freely back and forth in there. Then we'll find out what we have to do to get it to fit nice and even in this vise here. So I'm probably going to have to clean this up some, because there's a lot of there's a ridge at the bottom of it. So I may even, before I cut this shoulder, take and mill this slightly to clean that up. I'll see what we do here before we get started. So first thing though, let's take this down to size and move from there. That way we can move on with this hinge. Without this tool post, I can't do so. So we'll take you over to the milling machine, we'll set this up, we'll zero out the top of it, excuse me, and then we'll go ahead and begin milling that. Okay, I've put my part into the vise. I've come in and I've used a feeler gauge to find out the distance between my tool and my piece, and I've come up with 0.018. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my bed. I've got my DRO set to 0. I'm going to bring up my bed 0.018. You can engage my handle there. I'm going to bring it up 0.018, and that'll be my 0. I got it at 0.018. So I'm going to now zero out my DRO. Okay, now I'm zeroed out. So that's the top of my piece. So now I'm going to take it down, what was it? 0.65, I'm going to go to 0.67. So I'm going to take it up to 0.67. Because it's 0.130. Yeah, so I want it 0.67. I'm probably going to take about half of that, I think. I'm going to take 0.3. Okay, I don't know how hard this is that I'm working on here. So we'll make a couple of passes. I'm going to turn on the machine, check the oil level. Okay, the head's got oil. So we're going to go ahead and make our cut. We're at 224 RPMs. And we see how she does. That's got to be no problem. Okay, now we got both sides cut. I'm going to start all over. We're going to go over to the other table, figure out what we have to do for our shoulder, and I'll bring you over there as soon as I get set up. Okay, so I didn't take any extra like I originally figured into the dimension, so I may be a little bit tight in here. But what we're going to do is just go ahead and complete this, and then we'll go about fixing it if I have to. I can always trim a little bit more off. Right now, I'm at, I'm a little bit heavy. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm looking at it the wrong way here. Actually, because my dimension on the inside is 2.012, and this is 2.09. 2.012, 2.009 is what it is. So that might work. We'll just we'll see what we got. I might have to clean this up a little bit. Right now, there's a little bit of, just inside the jaw here, there's a little ridge I can fill here and along here. So I'm just going to take a file and file that and see if that'll clean up. And I think this will be easier than putting it in the milling machine and trying to get it all squared up. Since I've got a round base here, I'd have to clamp this onto something. Well, actually I could pull this off the base and clamp it into the vise, but I haven't trimmed my vise. I've just been taking off the top, so I haven't trimmed it for square, so I don't want to take that time right at this moment. Not that that'd take a whole lot of time. It's probably about 10 minutes. But I think we can file this and a lot of dirty, stinking stuff on there. A bunch of stuff piled up in that corner. Pretty much got that burr off. I'm trying to be careful not to file in the base of this. I'm just trying to get this edge. If I was going to keep the machine, which I don't think I'm going to. Once I get my Monarch going, I'll probably sell this. Who knows, I might keep it, who knows. But if I keep it, I'll probably re-mill all this because this has been pretty bunged up. I mean, you can see all over the face of it here. It looks like it's been pinged and hammered on, and it's just not in really good shape. This side here doesn't seem to have the same burr on it. It's a little bit less than the other side. I had pulled this all apart, all the ways and stuff that was totally filthy, had burrs on it. I took it all off and cleaned it all up, got all the garbage off of it, and then I stoned the mating surfaces. So now it operates much smoother than it did when you couldn't hardly move it back and forth. It was so caked up with junk. The worm gear in it is still in good shape, and the threads on the dial are still good, so that's not an issue. Okay, I think I've got that cleaned up enough to give us a good dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and take this in and check this out in a couple of spots. We got 1 5/10. Let's see. When I say tenths, I'm talking about tenths of an inch. This is reading exactly the same. One 5/10 of an inch. So that's what we have there. What do we have here? Here we have 1 6/10 plus. So we got to get rid of about 0.112 inch. 0.112. Oops, maybe I'm not looking at this right. I was looking at it wrong. I'm sorry, guys. It's actually 0.115. 5.5. So I wasn't too far off. Okay, good. So that's what we have to take off from the shoulder here for it to shoot, I forgot what I'm doing here. Yeah. So 1/10 of an inch, and then 1/100th, and how come I'm getting different dimensions than I did before? Let's check this out again. Let's see, it's 0.112. Okay, and we're going to want a little bit of space. Okay, so if we do that and we divide that in half, it'll be 0.055. So we're going to go with 0.057 on each shoulder. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. We go 0.057 on each shoulder. So now we're going to go back to the milling machine, and we're going to take off 0.057 off of each one of these shoulders, and then we'll see how she fits. See if I have to trim a little bit more off of this, or if this will slide in there. We'll see once we get done here. I've got the cutter zeroed out on the bottom, so now I have to zero out my Z-axis. So I'm going to hit that, hit 0, clear it. Oops, didn't clear it, did I? There we go. So we've zeroed out our z-axis. Now what we're going to want to do is raise this 0.057. Zero, 5, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so that's where our cut's going to be. Now, we'll take you over to where our cutter head is. Bring you in on there. Now, if you notice, I'm cutting from the opposite direction now. And the reason for that is that if I go that direction, I'd be climb cutting, and I don't want to do that. So I want a standard cut, so I'm going to bring her back this way. So let's go ahead. We'll put some oil on that puppy, turn on the motor, and start our pass. The only thing that I'm going to have to be careful of when I start my cut, I'm going to want to watch and see where I am on this edge here. This edge here. I don't want to be taking too much out of this. So I'll be want to keep a good eye on that as we cut. When I start, I'll check that out. So make sure we got oil in the head. Okay, the moment of truth. I've taken this and I filed the corners on all edges, filed these edges. So, will it fit or will it not? Let's find out. She slides right in there just as good as can be. Perfect. Tight enough, I like that. Nice and tight. That'll work just perfect. So this will be our mount for our tool post. I'll take that, put that right in here like so. Oops, I'm going to want that more like this. Make sure we're square with it. I'm going to go get my square. And it seems like that's pretty square to it. Oops, there's nothing on it. No. First of all, I guess I have to get it screwed down onto the plate. I can tighten her down. Oh. Send it now. There we go. Tighten that puppy down, I've got myself a tool post for my Hindi lathe. Okay, well that's going to be it on this particular video. Now we can move forward with drilling this on the Hindi. And we're not going to do that tonight. So thanks for watching this video. We're not going to go any further on our hinge yet. We still have a few more setups to do on the Hindi lathe. I want to pull that chuck apart, put a different set of jaws on it, and I'm also going to have to make some sort of jig to fasten this on to the lathe, because if I'm going to bore it, I've got two different bores. I've got a bore here and a bore here. I'm going to have to mount it pretty much like this onto the face, onto a faceplate. So I'm going to have to develop some system of holding it. There might be a video on that as well, but we're not ready to go any further with this until we get our machines set up and the jig set up that we need to do this work. So anyway, that'll be it for E.D.S. Inc. Shandon tonight. Thanks for watching. If you'd like, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like the content, and we'll try to keep giving you some more machining content as we go along. Thanks for watching.